Hey there, my name's Merrilee, and welcome to my channel, Living in Seattle Suburbs. So perhaps you're thinking of moving to Seattle and maybe you have a job transfer or you want to live closer to some family or friends, or maybe you live in Seattle and you'd like to get out of the city. Well, you've come to the right place because I'm highlighting all the suburbs around Seattle. There's a lot of towns that are just wonderful and have a lot to offer, very close to Seattle. So if you're going to work in Seattle, it's very easy to live in the suburbs and commute on in. There's many different ways to get into Seattle. So today I thought I would start with Camano Island. And it is a wonderful island. It doesn't feel like an island because you actually drive on a bridge. And actually the area that you drive over is kind of like a coastal type floodplain. So it's not even like there's a whole bunch of water underneath it. So going on Camano Island is very easy. It is a lovely island. There's a lot to offer. It's not very large, and I'm going to go over the pros and cons to see if this is something you would like to do and where you would like to live. So once again, my name is Merrilee. Hit that subscribe button to go ahead and get some updates on the new videos I'm going to be making. And also if you'd like to ask me some questions. So here we go. Camano Island, and it's spelled like the car, Camano. It has a gateway bridge, so there's no ferry needed. Let's talk about locations. I'm sure you're interested in that. It's 60 miles to Seattle from Camano, and we do just call it Camano. It's about an hour and 15-minute drive. To Everett, which is the next largest town south, it's 28 miles, about a 35-minute drive. Then you have Linwood, which is about 40 miles, 45-minute drive. And then if you're working in Bellevue, it's 55 minutes, an hour to an hour and 10 minutes. So commuting down to Seattle, if you're driving by yourself, a little bit over an hour, depends on traffic. Okay, we do have Boeing and Everett. They've got their shifts that get let out. And so you do want to find out about where you're at, where you're going, look at your map, and make sure you know how the traffic is and how long it's going to take you. And like Google Map is really easy now. You can do an arrive time and it will tell you when you need to leave. So like I'm going to see my niece over on the peninsula on Saturday, and I can either take the Mukilteo Ferry, the Edmonds Ferry, Seattle Ferry, or West Seattle Ferry over the water because I don't want to drive. And I could drive. I could drive all the way down to Tacoma and back up. And so I'm looking at my phone this morning and going, I want to arrive there at 11:20 on Saturday morning, and I want to take the Edmonds Ferry. You know, what time do I need to leave? And it's very precise, and then it reminds me. So things like that's pretty cool. And yes, ferry travel around here is doable. If that's what you want to do, you could actually live on Whidbey Island and catch the ferry and come into work every day. I know people who do it. So commuting to Seattle is doable from Camano Island. There is in Everett a commuter train, and you can go down to Everett and go to the Everett station and catch the train, and it runs down to Seattle. There's not as many stops, and it's on the waterfront. I know it stops in Edmonds for sure. That's like one of the next towns south. My daughter takes it several times a week now, and she sends me pictures. She said she sees harbor seals every day. Today she saw somebody swimming in the Puget Sound. I'm like, did you get a picture? There's a sunken boat right there that I didn't even know existed. So there's a lot of things, and I'll show you a picture here shortly of the commuter train and what it looks like from inside the train. There's also the light rail. So you could go down to Linwood, and that's about a 45-minute drive from Camano Island, and you can catch the commuter train, and that takes you into Seattle, and there's a lot of stops. And here's a schedule so you can see what this light rail train does and where it goes and all the stops it takes. That is fairly new. It's new for us. They've been telling us since I was a child that we were going to get this train, and all of a sudden it's here. And it was like, whoa, I need to go take that train and see what it's like. My brother was visiting from California with his daughter, and we went down there and we caught the train. We went to Linwood, and for some reason we didn't get in the parking lot. And I said, I know there's a train stop at Mount Lake Terrace, which is like the next two exits from Linwood south towards Seattle. So we just got on the freeway and drove down to Mount Lake like terrace, and plenty of free parking. Got on right there. We'd already ordered our tickets. You want to download the Orca app, and that's where you can buy transportation. And so it was on our phones. And you know what? We didn't even need to show our phones. It was like electronically picked it up or something magically when we got on that train. But the ride was easy, sleek. It was on time. It did everything they said it was going to do. It felt safe at that time. I have heard my daughter tell a couple stories when she was riding the light rail that weren't super great. And one of them was a lot of not picketers, but not rioters either. Somebody who didn't like something, and they were all heading down to Seattle, and they all got on the light rail. And she's also had some homeless people get on there, some people who were altered. So a lot more people getting off and on the light rail than the commuter train. And that's why she likes it better, because she just goes down and then comes back later in the day and doesn't need to stop at multiple stops. My brother and his daughter took it again after we took ours. We went down to Westlake and we went to Pike Street Market. So we got off at Westlake Mall, which is a wonderful mall with shopping and restaurants. And I feel like we only walked like 4 blocks down to Pike Street Market and enjoyed that, and then came back up and caught it and came back home. But my brother caught it again with his daughter, and I know they went to the University of Washington to look at the college, and they did a couple other stops and they loved it. But you know, they're from downtown San Francisco, so they're used to city living. So commuting from Camano Island is quite doable. So let's look at demographics, housing, what not. The median home price starts at $600. Now I know I could probably find you something a little less. It just depends on what your standards are and what you're looking for. In our area, we have residential homes. We've got townhomes where they're generally connected and 2-story. We've got condos. It can be a standalone residential house and still be zoned a condo, or it can be your typical condo. We've got condos that used to be apartments, and we've got manufactured homes. So we've got a wide variety of residential homes and a wide variety of yard size. You know, do you want to like live in Everett, closer to the downtown, where there's a little more going on? I have a girlfriend, she's getting separated and she just moved in there. She got herself a puppy and she's out walking every day, and she walks to the farmer's market. I know where she's walking because I used to live in downtown Everett, and she walks down to the waterfront, which they've just made this whole new renovation of the waterfront. So depending on where you want to live and what you want to live, I can help you with that because I'm so familiar with all these areas. But living on our lovely Camano Island, we have friends who just prefer to live there, and they've lived in a couple different places on the island. You can have waterfront property, or you can, I feel like you kind of go up towards the middle of the island. It's very woodsy. There's not any shopping or anything like that. There's 1 or 2 gas stations. They're more towards the exit off the island. You'll find some quaint shopping and places like that. But you can have acreage and be in a lovely wooded area. I just sold to some clients, and they're in a community called Lost Lake. They're not by the ocean side at all, but they are a part of this community called Lost Lake, and there's a wonderful little lake there. And I'm like, you better take advantage of that. I'm going to check on you. I want to make sure that you get out there with your kids and enjoy that lake. There's paths around it, and I've thought about moving there myself. It's just gorgeous. It's really pretty. So the average income, they say, is $100,000. I know there's people who make less than that. I just sold to some people. The average age is 56. Wow. The people I know who live on there, and they don't know each other, they're under 50. So I always wonder about that. There's about 17,000 people who live on the island, and that is pretty spread out. There's like 1 or 2 main roads, and you just drive down all the way to the other end. I'll tell you, it can take 45 minutes to get from one end to the other. So you need to be careful about where you land on Camano Island, because you could be 45 minutes down. You know, so then you got that commute, and then get back on I-5 and commute out of that. But like once you get to the end down there, there's wonderful communities, and like everybody has a view, and there's some good associations with clubhouses and things like that you can enjoy. So what are the pros of living on Camano Island? One of the things I know is the community. There's a very strong community, and they have a lot of fairs and festivals. They've got this blown glass hunt, scavenger hunt that they've started doing that's really cool. There is some secondhand stores, and we like to go out there and shop at those stores, and they have like handmade wrought iron things. So with Camano, we have a scenic lifestyle, definitely. Beaches, parks, trails, and wildlife everywhere. It's quiet and safe. It is a small town. It's a close-knit community. There's really one way in and one way out. There's the old Highway 99, which you could probably take, but you gotta get to that too before, and that's right by, that kind of runs perpendicular to I-5. So small town community. It's an outdoor paradise. You've got kayaking, boating, hiking, camping, crabbing. I mean, I was at a friend's house and she's like, I gotta go check the crab pots. And we went out on her little boat that she rowed out, checked the pots, pulled crab in. We brought him back in and had crab. I mean, just like that. So I would say some of the pros of living on Camano Island is that it is a nice, tight-knit community. You can have your privacy if you want it, but yet if you want to be involved, there's lots of opportunities to make some new friends and be involved in the community. Let's talk about some of the cons. Conflict, limited shopping and dining for sure. You're not going to have a Kohl's or a Ross or a Nordstrom's or anything there. You're going to need to go down to Everett or up to Stanwood. Commute times, we're looking at an hour or so. And I have had clients who live on Camano Island and work in Everett at Boeing. And there's a van that drives around and picks everybody up. There's also carpool lots too, so that makes it easy. The weather. Camano Island, because it is an island and it's more exposed, it does tend to have the power go out. I mean, it depends on where you live around here. I just moved 10 minutes last year and my power went out all the time where I lived, and now it doesn't, and I am more in the city. But you know what? When you live in this area, and I will tell my clients when they're going to purchase whatever area we're in, if you need it, I will tell you, you probably want to get a generator. I have one, just because if the power goes out, you know, you can immediately have lights and your cell phone, get your refrigerator hooked up. You know, they're not hard to run. If I can do it, you can do it. They've even got these little ones now, and I got a tiny one for in my house, and the last time the power went out about 3 hours last year, I had my little one. I didn't even hook up the big one, and I had my cell phone, I had a light, I had my laptop, and before I knew it, the power was back on. I was so surprised it was so many hours. And I even had a little heater, and I wasn't cold, you know, and it was in the middle of a wintry storm. So I got that on Amazon, and it was under $100. So in this area, generally, you probably want a generator. I mean, I lived without one for years, but after a while, I'm like, yeah, I want a generator. When the power would go out, and I lived up on Fire Trail, and I could hear all the neighbors' generators kick in, and I didn't have one, I'm like, yeah, that's not fun. So that's some of the cons. Limited shopping. You do need to commute out. We do have occasional power outages, but it's a real island and it's doable, and the housing cost is not that much higher. I think the biggest thing that keeps people away from Camano Island is the distance. And I've considered moving there, and you know, with my job, I travel around, so it doesn't really matter where I live. And now I know a lot of people are only commuting in a couple days a week, so it does make it very doable. Some of the highlights on Camano Island is they have the Island State Park with camping, hiking, fishing. There's the Cama Beach State Park. There's waterfront cabins, boat rentals, picnics. We have the Iverson Split Preserve. There's trails, a lot of bird watching, and beach walks. There's Christopherson Farm, which they now have zip lining, and there's lavender fields and a lot of seasonal events. And they do have a Camano Island studio tour. So Camano Island, even when I was a kid, I think they used to have like once a year an art studio tour. And it was so foreign and fascinating because, you know, we didn't travel around much back then. Coming up to Camano Island from Everett, is where I was raised, was so far to go, and for what? You know, there wasn't really any reason for me to go. But then I'd hear about these art tours, and it's like, what is it? Just full of, beautiful artists who are creating art all year long. And yes, there's a lot of art and galleries on Camano Island. And now we have local wineries, and they've popped up everywhere. Oh my gosh. And some little cafes with relaxed dining and waterfront views. So the highlights is that it's really perfect for somebody who's searching out a slower pace of life. You want a little more quiet, a little more private, a little more connection with Mother Nature. Then Camano Island is a perfect place for you to live. And you can commute down to Seattle if that's where you're going to be working. So thank you for stopping by, and go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to get some more information on Camano Island, or if you have a question, and also get updates on my new videos I'm going to be making. Thanks a lot. And don't forget to subscribe today so you don't miss any posts. You get all the new updates. I can answer any questions you have. It's absolutely free. And I also want to thank you for stopping by my channel, Living in Seattle Suburbs with Merrilee.